90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they worked so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The remarkable soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Would you like to put your business in front of rural America and the ag community every week? We have sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Contact us to find out how you can milk it for all it's worth. The face of agriculture. What does it look like? On today's show, we'll take a look at one of the prominent faces of agriculture and ranching and how she is involved in Virginia agriculture. We'll also explore how Virginia farmers and conservationists are working together to preserve natural resources. Plus, we'll tell you about a new book concerning the history of our state's largest farming organization. It's all straight ahead on this episode of Virginia Farming. I'm Jeff Ishii. A national conservation group recently sponsored an agricultural networking event in the Shenandoah Valley. Participants from 3 states attended. Farmers and conservationists from Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia participated in a 3-day event hosted by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. The event was conducted in Stanton, where organizers say the purpose was to demonstrate various techniques to improve soil and water around the Chesapeake Bay watershed.
It's a great opportunity for us to bring together over 100 leaders at the local, state, federal level in conservation. It's quite frequently referred to as a lot of folks' favorite conference in the conservation community in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. So it's something we're proud to continue to support and tremendously proud to have corporate partners like Altria be able to provide financial support for.
One day of the conference was spent visiting farms located in Augusta and Rockingham counties in the Shenandoah Valley, where many farmers are implementing conservation practices to help protect the environment. One farmer in Swope, Virginia, said it is important that farmers network amongst themselves to learn more about conservation practices.
I think most farmers value the input of another farmer more so than, I don't want to use the word bureaucrat, but I'm going to use the word bureaucrat because they know that we've got experience. That's one thing that I think really helps is when you have farmers that see the benefit and can talk about the benefits. It's a powerful message to another farmer because they know that we're looking at the same objectives as they are in all likelihood.
Darrell Glover is director of the Division of Soil and Water Conservation for the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation and talked about the bigger picture.
Well, this conference is about trying to get the different groups together, government groups, nonprofit organizations, federal and state, basically to talk about, efforts that various organizations are making and how we can better work together to support each other.
Glover said the practice of excluding livestock from streams is a critical technique, not only for water quality, but improving the overall health of the animals on the farm.
Well, it's important to the farmer because it helps to improve herd health. You have basically clean water through the troughs that are provided, the alternative watering systems, and also you reduce risk of cow and calf injury by keeping the cows out of the streams.
The 3-day conference was hosted by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. Participants said they appreciated the opportunity to network with farmers and others involved in protecting natural resources. Farmers can learn more about conservation practices by contacting their local office of Virginia Cooperative Extension or the USDA's Farm Service Agency. Well, a new book about our state's largest farm organization was published in 2016. From the Ground Up. It's an appropriate title for a book about the history of the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. The book was published in 2016 as a way to chronicle the colorful past of an organization dedicated to agriculture in the Old Dominion. Author Greg Hicks explains the inspiration for the new book.
Well, actually, it was a resolution from one of our county farm bureaus several years ago. They submit internal resolutions to us, and they said it's time for a new history book. We haven't had one. The other one ended in 1982, and I volunteered to continue it on and write a new one from that point on.
The book was revealed for the first time at the annual Farm Bureau Convention in Hot Springs, where hundreds of farmers and representatives of agribusiness gathered at the Omni Homestead Resort. Hicks, who is also Vice President for Communications at Virginia Farm Bureau, talks about the process of writing the new book.
Well, I started with an outline, and I've lived through a lot of this history myself. I've been at the Farm Bureau since 1987, so I only had 5 missing years to go back and not really know what happened in research. And the other stuff, I still researched it, but I kind of had an idea of where I was going with it, having been through it as the communications director for so many years. But I started with an outline, and then I interviewed some of the retired presidents, the board members, that sort of thing. And then I used the Farm Bureau News a lot. That was a great archive for us.
The new book is available from numerous bookstores and online resources, including Amazon.com. Thanks to Greg Hicks for writing this new book about such an important organization. Well, if you're curious about what the face of agriculture and ranching looks like, hold on. She's going to join us in just a few moments during Ag Insights with Amy Rocher.
So today we're in Rockingham County and we're visiting with Lauren Arbogast. Lauren was recently named one of the faces of farming and ranching as a national contest. Lauren, tell us a little bit more about the contest.
Absolutely. So the contest is put on by the U.S. Farmers and Ranchers Alliance, USFRA, and this is the 3rd class that they've chosen through the years. And really it's a chance for them to put a face on the agriculture industry, if you will, from across different commodities and different regions of the U.S., and a chance to use those faces to interact with consumers on a more personal level at events and through different engagements.
So this was a national contest, and there were only 5 people out of the United States chosen. And you were one of those. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. How did you feel when you heard the news?
Extremely honored. I mean, my background, I came from a city, grew up in the city, and married into agriculture. And so for the chance to represent an industry that I have learned about so much about in the past 11 years and just really found a deep-seated passion for is such an honor to be a face and to represent agriculture.
Well, you mentioned your background, and I want to touch on that. You have a great story because you're so involved with everything that is agriculture in this county and beyond. But you did not grow up on a farm. This is not second nature to you like it is for a lot of us. Tell us your story about how you ended up on a farm.
Sure. I grew up in Newport News, which is on the eastern side of Virginia. And if you would have asked me what agriculture was or farming, I probably would have just rolled my eyes and said, I have no idea. But once I moved up here, I came up to the Valley for college, graduated from JMU with my undergrad, started working, and the office manager of where I was working wanted to introduce me to her son. And so Mama knows best. We met in January of 2005 and got married in November of 2005. And that 10 to 11 months or so was really my deep dive into agriculture. Through those dating months, getting to know Brian and his family and here on the farm, I asked quite a few questions. I still do. I just, I'm curious about how things work and why things are the way they are. And agriculture really was kind of the perfect fit for me, and this family and this farm was the perfect fit.
Well, you talk about Brian's family and the Arbogast family from the Lacey Spring area, and what a great family.
Absolutely.
To be married into.
Absolutely.
They're wonderful people, but they are also really wonderful faces of agriculture because tell us what all you guys do. And you're not just beef farmers or poultry farming. You guys just do it all. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
We do have quite a bit of things going on here on the farm. So like you mentioned, we have poultry houses. We raise broiler chickens. We also have beef cattle. We have cow-calf, and then we background our own up until about 900 pounds before we sell to the market. And we also have crops, so our corn and our rye and things that we grow here goes directly back into our own beef cattle. We also have a fencing business. So
it just keeps going.
It just keeps going, but the great thing is, you know, the diversity really just kind of adds to our portfolio, adds to what we're able to offer to this community and beyond. And really we're thinking about future generations and how we can be sustainable for not only ourselves right now, but for the kids coming up. So that's important to us.
Right. And you guys have 2 young boys.
We do.
And I wanted to talk a little bit because I follow your blog, Paint the Town Ag. Tell us a little bit about that, because you always share really great pictures around your farm and of the kids helping, doing their chores and stuff. Tell us a little bit about your blog.
Sure. Well, Paint the Town Ag came about 4 years ago when I was still teaching in the classroom. I was a teacher, a preschool special ed teacher in Harrisonburg City Schools, and began incorporating agriculture into my lessons, and pretty soon it was school events and district-wide events, and then it was helping other schools, you know, around in the county, just really to help the kids understand important concepts about agriculture, but at a fun level and at a relatable level. And really we began to see kids teaching their siblings and then their parents that came to those events. But Paint the Town Ag was the original space that I put my lessons, my Farm Friday lessons. And that was a great jumping off spot for the blog, you know, and like any good thing, it's evolved over the years. It's often termed an agriculture lifestyle blog. And so with that, you know, it's not just things that are going on here on the farm. It's also, you know, some of those ag education items for classrooms, but it's also just a little bit of inspiration and a lot of me. And with that, you know, it's really me speaking to the consumer that I was 12 years ago before the farm, saying, you know, this is what happens on our farm and this is why, but I'm not just on the farm 100% of the time, you know, and so it's bringing in just components of my life, whether it's work or being a mom or, you know, travel or different things. And it's being able to connect with consumers in those arenas that may not have had the chance to interact with agriculture. And so for me right now, in this stage, Paint the Town Ag is very much consumer facing, and it's very much being available for any questions and anyone I've, you know, come across with where this blog has taken me. So,
and that really plays a big part into the faces of farming and ranching, because that's the purpose.
Absolutely.
Is to give our farmers and ranchers a face and someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. What do you plan on doing with this position as one of the faces of farmer? Do you have a platform? Do you have a plan of what you plan to do?
Plan of action.
A plan of action.
Well, a lot of it is set or determined by USFRA. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean, they are the ones that are engaging with a broader audience, whether it's, you know, the Associated Press or different conferences or events, and, you know, incorporating us into that. So for example, maybe it's the conference South by Southwest or something, and they have a food track. Well, if there's a food track, agriculture needs to be there. And so it's just a chance to be in spaces that agriculture wasn't necessarily in before, and a chance to say, hey, do you have a question for a farmer? There's one right over there, you know, and just start conversations around food, because in reality, I think that's where agriculture is still trying to play catch up. You know, it was so many years that we just stood behind and just assumed that people understood and assumed that people knew where their food came from and how it was produced. And I know, you know, for our farmer audience, you might be saying, nodding your head and saying, yeah, but now's the time to step up. And now's the time to pay attention to the trends, whether it's with social media or blogging or, you know, and looking out and seeing, all right, what is the rest of the world doing? And how can we participate? And how can we have a very strong voice? And we're able to show people what we actually do here on the farm to produce food.
Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think that this program is doing exactly what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. You know, we've always said that farmers are not good communicators for a variety of reasons. I mean, mostly because their jobs are 24/7.
Absolutely.
And they don't have time to sit down and explain everything that they do.
Absolutely.
But when you pull someone from the agriculture community out to address the questions, you know, I think that a lot of the misconceptions that our consumers have about farming and the rural way of life in general comes from that lack of communication. Do you have, is there one of those misconceptions that just drives home to you and that is your message every time you go out?
Well, being, you know, deep-seated here in the beef and the poultry industry, there's a lot of misconceptions around beef and poultry, whether you're talking about antibiotics or animal welfare. And really, you know, whether I'm sitting on an airplane or at a rental car counter or wherever I am, my ears perk up if I hear, you know, some of those key words and key terms. And I'll often start a conversation. But it's not a conversation with the goal to educate them, if you will. It's a conversation to build a relationship so that when they have questions in the future, or, you know, when they're, you know, whether it's 10 minutes later or 10 years later, if I've handed them my card and say, this is who I am and this is what I do, you know, if you have any more questions about what we just talked about, I'd love for you to be in contact. And so that's really the driving goal for me in addressing those misconceptions.
That's awesome. And that's what we need so much more of. And it's not attacking. No, you're wrong. That's not right. That's not exactly how it works. Let me tell you. It's not even that. It's just starting that conversation and being an outlet for them to go to and a source of information.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you one other question. When you moved here and you became part of the Arbogast family, what was the biggest thing about farming that kind of blew your mind? Like,
that's a hard one, Amy, because there was a lot of things about farming that blew my mind. I guess I would say the biggest thing, I did not realize how self-sustaining a farm was. And by that, I mean whether you have 30 acres or 300 acres or 3,000 acres, there are things that farmers are doing, not only here in Rockingham County and Virginia, but across the U.S. to give back into their land, into their resources that they have, and to really, really make an impact, a positive impact for their community, their county, and their state. You know, here in the Chesapeake Bay watershed area, there's a lot of things that we do because we have to, if you will. Whether it's through regulations or others, but there's a lot of things that we do and we don't have to do it. But it's because we care for this land, we care passionately for our animals and for our community.
Well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Wow. Well, Lauren, good luck with this new position with the Faces of Farming and Ranching. I know you're going to do a tremendous job and represent not only Rockingham County, but Virginia, and really, I think you're a wonderful spokesman for our national farmers all the way around.
Thanks so much, Amy.
So good luck with that, and I hope you guys will check out Lauren's blog, Paint the Town Ag. Search it, you can find her, and we'll be right back.
Get ready to learn about pruning crepe myrtles as we go in the garden with Mark Viette.
Crape myrtle can grow anywhere from 1.5 foot in height, and they'll stay that height, or they can grow up to 40 or 50 feet even taller. So, you know, there's like 6 classifications. There's dwarf or super dwarf, dwarf, medium, medium tall height, and you can look that up online. You get all the different classifications. The type of crepe myrtle I'd like to talk about today is the more shrub growth crepe myrtle. And this is a crepe myrtle that will grow anywhere from 5 to maybe 10 feet tall, and that is its perfect size. And in many cases, depending on where you live, if you live in warmer areas, you're not going to find a lot of dieback like we have here. But if you live in some of the colder areas, or you experience those late freezes in the spring or early freezes in the fall, this growth from last year will be damaged. And a lot of times, I don't like to prune crepe myrtle till I see what is alive and what is dead. The shrub types of crepe myrtle benefit from being thinned out. And that is where you go in and take some of the oldest growth, maybe 5-year growth, 4-year growth, completely out, and you let the new growth take over. If you experience a very cold winter and the majority of the plant is damaged, or if you live in very cold areas, you may have to come in and cut the whole plant back pretty hard. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and thin it out. And as if you look here on this branch, right, that I've got here, you can see some of the growth is alive right on this plant here, and then it stops here. So in some cases, I may tip some of these branches back, but on this one here, it's completely dead. This one here is completely dead. So what I'm going to do is start working and thinning it out. You know, I only like to take about, 1 or 2 out of every 5 branches to thin it out, and you'll really get a lot of great exercise. So this puts you on your knees. You really got to get hard at it and working, and you'll have your exercise for the whole week. This whole stem you see here is died back all the way to the base. So I'm going to cut it about 3 inches above the soil level. So I'm going to remove this branch, just like this, take it away. This one here is completely dead. So I'm going to come in here, and you can see years ago where we had to prune it in the past. So I'm going to come and take this one out. This one has growth to here, so I'm not going to cut it all the way back, but I might come right in here. When it comes to this one here, what I'm going to do is hold it, and then there it is there, okay? And prune that one there. And then this one, I'm just going to prune this tip. So really, I'm thinning it out, and this is going to bloom probably quite a while this summer. And it may bloom as late as September and even into October. Since I'm pruning it in midsummer, it will bloom a little later. In about 5 minutes, I've gotten a little bit of a workout, but look at all the dead. And not only that, I thinned this out. So a lot more air can go through this plant, gets a lot more sun, and therefore better blooming for the shrub-sized crepe myrtles in the garden. Remember, there are probably 50 different types of shrub crepe myrtles alone that you can use to get that wonderful long summer color. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Our pearl of wisdom this week comes in from viewer Vera C. in Bristol, Virginia, who says, "He who knows he has enough is rich." Thank you, Vera, for that pearl of wisdom. That does it for our show this week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii for Virginia Farming.
90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security.
Would you like to put your business in front of rural America and the ag community every week? We have sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Get in touch with us to hatch a new plan.